good spot. But what
Yeah.
does impress you about him?
He really is. He's the defensive weapon. You know, I know we talked about that on the offensive side. He really is. He can play corner. He can play nickel. He can play safety. Originally a safety, and then trying to figure a way to get him on the field. And he's so smart, and he's a physical tackler. Put him down at nickel, could bump out a corner. I mean, that's really what he is. So he's all those things, and then special teams. On top of that, he's all over the field on special teams. So tough, smart, physical player. And if you ever watched his highlight in high school, I mean, he had I don't know how many turnovers. It's
5
unbelievable.
touchdowns in 5 games.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It really is. He's one of the guys you go back and you pop his tape on as you look at future recruits and just remember what he looked like in high school because he's been so productive here. So he can really do it all. He's not going to play on the D-line or linebacker per se in the box, but he can play any of those positions in the secondary. And he's a guy that gives us a lot of flexibility. So when you got guys like that, guys get dinged up, you got to move somebody around, you got somebody on your team that can bump out and play these different positions. It makes it huge.
With the, we're talking about having a rare day game on
Yeah.
Saturday. And I know you don't have a say in how it works with the TV contracts and all that, but what's kind of, you guys get some money from it, but you've played a lot of the 8-15 games. What's kind of if you had it your way, what would you choose, weighing the exposure being on ESPN and the channels and that kind of stuff with what's best for your team and the fans and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's really, personally you want the games earlier. You'd love to play it that way for the fans, your team, for yourself. You go play your game, you have that evening, you have a little bit more time with your family, you have a chance to kind of regroup before the next day, maybe start your Sunday a little bit earlier. So from a preparation standpoint, you love that. Now exposure, we get a lot of exposure from ESPN in those late games, and our 8 o'clock kickoff might be 7 o'clock in 7 o'clock in California. Those guys are all watching it, and if not, they're gonna have a copy of it somehow, some way, and their families are gonna get a chance to see it. So I don't really know the answer. I know we have good exposure from it. I don't mind in the way I think the schedule this year is set up. There's a mixture of early games, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, some 8 o'clock games, those type of things. I don't think that's bad, and I think it does help us in recruiting and in the long term. Immediately you're focused on that, but in the long term, people get a chance to see you play, and where we recruit, that's huge for us. If we had it perfectly, your 5 o'clock kickoff would probably be ideal for everybody. Every one of our games is on ESPN. It's nationally televised. Everybody gets a chance to see it. It ends somewhat reasonable time. Families get to be here with the players. We get to go home, start our Sundays, kind of at a normal time. I mean, it's just everybody wants that, and there's so many teams, and I couldn't imagine, I've said it before, to be the one that has to figure all that out and organize it and make everybody happy. It's just not going to work that way. So this is really, it's rare, it's awesome that we have it now. I'm looking forward to it. I think day games, October, November here are fantastic. Our guys are excited about it. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for the fans.
When you look at the guys up front on offense, I know you might not forget about the Oklahoma State game, but for the sake of narrowing the focus, you take that one out. They've allowed 3 sacks and 107 dropbacks. How pleased have you been with pass protection? And then just on the flip side, in the run game, are you pleased with push, or you feel like Alex has had to make quite a few guys miss in the backfield this year? Is there anything to that, I guess?
Well, it's still 3 sacks. I mean, you want to eliminate that, and you can't throw away the Oklahoma State game. That's part of our season, and you got to learn from it. The penetration, that's what defenses are trying to do. We're trying to do that on defense. That's always the goal. Try to penetrate somewhere, disrupt the back. Teams are doing a good job of that because they know we're going to run it. Now, protection, because of that, now you got to kind of flip it around. You can do that in the run game, but in pass protection, those are a little bit easier to pick up. So maybe we're able to handle that in our protections better when teams play it a certain way. So it's kind of that pick your poison. You're going to blitz the run, or we're not always going to run the ball when they think we are. We can throw it as well. So I think we've done well in protection. We don't want to have the penetration in the run game. Anytime we can not have that, we can dent the defense, let our back get 2 or 3 yards before he ever gets hit. It gives those guys a chance to see the hole and get momentum. So we know how we're being attacked. That's what they're trying to do. And we just got to mix it up. We got to eliminate those, and so we want to be better. Yes, we don't want that happening. That's not okay. That's not part of what we want to do. The O-line knows that. Running backs know that. Tight ends know that. That's always been the case. It'll never change. But how do we eliminate it, and how do we get better at it?
You look at San Diego State. They've won 24 straight games when they won the turnover battle. I know that's such a key stat regardless of who you're playing.
Huge stat, yeah.
But they seem like they're kind of that perfect storm of they're good at getting takeaways, but they're also pretty good at not giving it away. You know, kind of an equal importance there, I'd say.
Absolutely. I think good teams do that. You know, you can win that turnover battle. At the end of the year, your defense has 30-plus turnovers. You know, your offense is in the teens, low teens. You had a good season. You know, that's kind of what our stats have been. When we win the turnover battle, our winning percentage is very high as well. So I think it's all the same. It's just one of those. They've done a really good job in the secondary. They've gotten a bunch of turnovers over the years. The way they run their offense, they run the ball. They're a power team. They're going to hang on to it. They're going to chew the clock up. You watch the Arizona State game. They had to drive 11 plays, and the only time they threw it was on the two-point conversion. So you got to be able to find a way to win that battle. We did last year, and we converted one of those turnovers into a touchdown, which was huge. So it's no different. It doesn't matter any team we play. We can go play whoever. They win the turnover battle. That's probably not a good thing for us. We're going to be in a game now that maybe we had a chance to dominate and win, but turnovers make it a lot closer. And when you play good teams, that becomes the factor. Who's +1, +2 in a game is probably going to be the deciding factor.
Let's see, with Killian, you guys just really seem to have I don't want to say a soft spot for the guy, but it does seem like a lot of people were cheering for him to do well this year. And I don't know if it's his personality or obviously overcoming injury, but what is it about him that's made you guys be so excited for him to have some success this season?
You know, it is him. It is his personality. I would say any of our injured guys, like Evan Tyler. You know, Evan Tyler's in a position, unlike receiver, where, you know, Evan Tyler doesn't always have a chance to score touchdowns. If Evan Tyler could, we have the same soft spot for him. It's just these guys that overcome some of these major injuries. Guys come back from a knee injury, and then they play well, and they make big plays. I think everybody on our team, and coaches included, understand how hard they work. We've watched them in pain, tears, going through, you know, just the agony of knowing that they're done and then coming back from surgery and working really hard, being somewhat, you know, everybody's a little bit scared when they come back to just cut it loose, and then they cut it loose, they have that moment, and then they're ready to go play. And, you know, Killian's in a position where he can score touchdowns, he can be a little bit more noticed than some other guys, but that's just how we feel about our injured players. When they have a significant injury, they've been gone a long time, they come back and they have those moments. For us, that's really powerful, because everybody at some point in football will get injured. Hopefully not that long, but they will get injured. That's just the sport. It happens from little guy all the way up through college, the NFL, things happen. And when guys come back, it's a lot of work and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get it done. So Killian this year, you know, when he had that touchdown in Troy, that was kind of that moment, you know, where he got up and he kind of, you know, hit his arm there like I'm back, and that was, I think, for everybody, we all understood without him even saying anything what he meant, that, you know, he's ready to go.
With Hayden Hogarth, you know, he's missed a couple field goals here in the early going. What have you seen from him? Obviously, he came back and made the next two after the miss at Wyoming. But is Joel still pushing him, or is he still kind of clearly above him, or what's that kind of?
No, Joel, we're always competing. Joel's still pushing that. Joel is doing a good job in practice. Hayden has as well. The thing about special teams, I think I said this last week, you get one shot. That's the difference. O&D, you can go out there, you can kind of play a series, have 2 or 3 plays, get into a groove a little bit, let the nerves settle down and just get back to what you've been practicing. And special teams, you don't. You got to come out there and you got to make it right away. So, you know, we haven't done that. And now we did come back, and he's able to overcome, you know, a little bit of adversity early on and make a few kicks, and those points matter. We just got to do it sooner. I feel like Hayden's more than capable. Joel certainly can do it as well. And those guys have been pushing. They're always competing every single week. You know, that's not a position we just settle in. If Joel's kicking better that week, he'll go out there and he'll be the one that's going to start. If Hayden is having a great week, he's going to go out there and start. And Quinn Skill, and everybody has their role on teams, you know. And then our snappers, they got to do their job and do it well.